the Japanese game of the year again. I call you everything in fighting games. After all, a child's place in technology 3. After all, acquaintances there are already opening up all over the country. It's like a school of life. I do not know one special person who could take away from Kambuhalao from Tekken 3. Think carefully about what kind of future you want where you play or where you are played. The new Street Fighter 6 is a continuation of the great series. It's a big desktop, so I'm the smallest first one, which is especially important to know what was there in the 32 subsequent parts. That's when the remakes are released, then we'll look at them. Nevertheless, the internet understands perfectly well that these multi-billion-dollar incompetents are riveting their dull crafts in order to overshadow the very game about Alyosha Popovich from the noughties and hype trials that day. Millions of copies sold the first day, and 10 critics, and they need to get closer to that volume. In general, it's always fun when the success and hype of a game determine its sales. You ordered a million copies of your game yourself and created an information guide. What's the deal? And then they resold the keys through the information gypsy from the Stope Game channel. This is what the mer business looks like today. I bought it from myself, hyped it, and sold it more expensive. It's by chance that I live in the world. Everyone is building Streeter 6 here, not the new shock system that they've been doing for 10 years. After all, Street Fighter is such a legendary series of games which was played only on holidays when confused with Mortal Kombat. But it's only been 30 years, and the series has become beloved by the people. For this, it is worth praising the publisher of Mortal Kombat and Tekken. The more they kill their games, the more Street Fighter begins to play. Everything is simple. This game was made by the Japanese and more specifically, by Malaysian students who confused the pub with the office of Kapok. The single reason dedicated to this land welcomes a decent look at the island of all the rest of the games in 2023. Nowadays, people have a very low place. What if this game just sounds, well, it's already the game of the year. 10/110. Whatever the game itself is, it's a big deal. I've thrown in 3,000. The men are doing a lot of work. There's even a plot here. What is the point? Once again, for only the billionth time, we are competing in a mega duel tournament, elite wrestlers from all over the planet. Why 99% of them are Asians? We will keep silent. This time we spent money on the plot, and at the beginning we even see a beautiful screensaver. That is, at least a couple of billions were still spent on creating the game. I think for this it is already possible to put in place IG 10 and 10. This time, fortunately, there was nothing to change and we still have all our favorite characters from the previous parts. A blonde jock, a brunette jock, a jock, even some Asian woman was added. I didn't have time to remember her name, not because all Asians look the same, but because I spent the whole night learning combos for a fat man. We fight with everyone, but it looks like the characters are waving away flies in a rural toilet. You don't honor the weight of the blow. But there are a lot of pretentious animations and effects around, which end after a whole hour. Not well. For a whole hour of gameplay and $60 is not desirable, right? Behind these cool animations, it's not always possible to see whether you got there or not, but this is a plus. If you know less, you sleep better. It's hard to see anything when men in their underpants are twirling salties. This time, realism was added, so to hit the enemy, you need to come right up to him. That is, it does not matter what size your arm or leg is, just approach point blank. Lovers of close contacts will be satisfied. I was pleased with the realistic physics. When the hero takes damage, he involuntarily grunts and bends like jelly. At least somewhere the players will feel at home. Thanks to the latest advances in computer graphics, backdrops, where some kind of movement is constantly happening, are much more interesting than the fights themselves. The moment has come when the graphics in games cannot be distinguished from real life. And now about the main thing. The underpants on these Asian girls will sell the game to anyone. In this part, a lot of naked beauties have been added, which is why the game is at risk of being banned for inculcating homosexuality and the great oil superpower. Sister, where is your hijab? Nowadays, it is a real rarity to see at least something beautiful and juicy. This will automatically make it an oppressor. And there are really a lot of juicy and big shapes here. But there is also a minus. These large sizes are only for male characters. My subscribers are no stranger to them. Don't think that I'm embarrassed by bare legs. I just come to a fighting game to score some long complicated combo from one button and to make everyone awesome. From me it still works here. But for some reason, you quickly get tired of it. Don't think that it's not fun. But I would like something else. You don't need to learn long combos to win. For once, press one button and everything will be done for you. I was pleased that we received a large number of seats, as many as 4. Now the game feels big. You're sitting on your ass in front of the monitor and at the same time admiring all the beauties of Japan. There's a beach with sand, or a city with an empty road, There's also a subway with homeless people. There's a temple of ancient Rus. Well, there is enough content for a 20-hour company. Many people hated Mortal Kombat for the fact that there are the same heroes to be discovered 1,000 times. There is no such thing because there are no heroes themselves. This means that they do not need to be opened. The strongest are given at the start and you just can't stand up to the rest. No, don't get me wrong. It's a lot of fun to hammer one button and save up the whole game for Ulta, which while you're building, there will already be empty servers. But I'm missing something special. There's no blood here, the style is cartoony and the competitiveness is hard to feel because of the wooden physics. Fans of drunken brawls with a friend will rejoice. But you expect more from such a great series. It was necessary to add more movement. The plot is bland with obvious cheating at the end. The characters are not remembered because they say a couple of pathetic phrases and die in a proud pose of small stature, that everything is done by some kind of bronze. That is, you do 10 gifts and take off only half of the HP. What kind of cybernetic locust is this? There is a revolutionary feature in this game. You only need to press 2 buttons to get out of it. You can see right away the perfect balance. What kind of balance can we talk about when there's only one person here? He blows all the faces off his feet in a couple of punches, and on others you have to learn long combos. That is, you have to sweat for one, not for the other. The nerds will be delighted. They have a great reason to prove their importance in a casual fight for buzzers. Now we are at least in demand somewhere. The main thing that should hit your ears in a fight is the juicy farting basses of some hard bass, and here, instead of cool music, some kind of anime crap which is a shame to include in a gay club. There is also rock backing, not the first freshness. The grandparents of my fans definitely caught these Metallica binge drinking when they were building communism. As I take from a large billion-dollar corporation, there were not enough as much as 2 rubles for the budget to tell about the best gacha fighter Hitov. There would still be Gasman of Rivers for the country. The problem is solved quickly if you turn on the music yourself with a phonograph, for which I want to praise. The game has become bright, very bright. It is so bright that all previous games now seem very gray. There's a bit too much brightness here. I understand that it is easier to attract a modern player to the bright red underpants of Mobajak Bimbo or the thick juicy beard of El Nino. Girls, we're sorting out the men from the barbershop hair. But I somehow feel uneasy from such colorfulness. It feels like I went into Fortnite with some kind of update on the action. Also, the multiplayer has gone a lot. I wasn't playing it when I saw some kind of life eater with a nickname in Buryat hieroglyphs who put me down faster than I figured out how to walk here. However, online play is smooth here if you live in a developed Asian country. Of course, for all the other beggars from backward countries, you will have to endure departures and delays. Of course, they promise to fix it quickly. Well, by the 7th part they will definitely fix it, if they don't forget. The oldest ones are already opening a business in the Akov market for cricket wanderers. That's why you're doing money in the summer of 2023. And they also say there are some crises. But why play online here at all? If you have a high rank, new heroes and new underpants for them will be revealed to you at the end of the month. Admit it, it's definitely better than real life. I won't see the June sun until I fly to you for my second wave. Among the advantages I want to include the perfect optimization on a PC for a modern game. I hasten to inform all haters of the new Street Fighter. This game has gone beyond the perfect 60 FPS on Ultra. However, it was only a trailer for the game on YouTube, but I think even with such optimization, this is already a treasure, especially at such a ridiculous price as 3,000 rubles, in a country where it is half a salary. Give me 2. What did the Capcom do wrong? They didn't pay me for the review, and they also didn't add the ability to throw bottles and change underpants right on the move between fights. I'm already silent about the fact that you can't undress the character here and completely inspect him. Gotchi games have not seen such a shame for a long time. There were rumors about Ulta the Rage of the Berserker, when the hero under the hawthorn tree began to destroy the walls, but they were removed for fear of harm to life. Usually when people see something cool on a screen, they start repeating it. And from there, as you know, world wars and alcoholism, and global warming, so once again it's better not to set a bad example to young people. Special thanks I want to say for the multiplayer. I didn't put my foot in there. I made a brilliant trap and beat everyone. Fighting games are scolded for the unfair distribution of ranks. They say beginners can't get out from the bottom. Street 6, there is no such thing. Here, both beginners and pros will not get out of the same rank for months because now they all play together. Otherwise, several of the coolest wrestlers would have played against each other. Beginners are always caught with their backs so that life does not seem like honey, but I think it's the right thing to do. This way they will learn to play faster. As they say, you want to learn how to play with a difficult opponent, but the casuals will spit as usual. There is a type of player who wants to win for a donation. Here's the same comp to take in order to enter tournaments. You need to play in the Saudi League, and free players will sit at the bottom for years, but those who pay 13 miserable euros per month for a bonus will always be at the top. There is no such thing in Street Fighter. All players are in the same conditions. There is no donation, and it does not affect anything. This is a moment when a paid game is cheaper than a free one. It's one thing to buy a game once and play honestly without donating the slaps that the system promotes for money, and another thing is when a low-kill major without a personal life will always bypass you without doing anything. Magic odd guys. Actually, I thought the new Street Fighter 6 was crap for a small bunch of fans, and there's nothing she won't surprise Sigma LPHA Patrick Bateman kids like me, but I was wrong. The game has passed its 5th decade this year, but when I looked at other fighting games, I realized that I was wrong. Mortal Kombat is terribly donut, Tekken is overloaded and stuffy, and there are no other competitors right now. The elite will say, what about the fight with the conduct shadow? The world's masses are not yet used to such conditions. They have only recently descended from the trees. They need to get used to it first before playing good games. By God, you would have advised me to play Tekken 397th year, which is much more skillful, more exciting with charismatic characters, and there are fighting Kazakhs there. No. The world has definitely turned somewhere else. Why spend 3,000 rubles at all to beat someone when in Russia it was necessary to pay to grab on the face? And not only on the face. Gambling violence kills more per day than all the epidemics of gonorrhea, syphilis, constipation and pubic coli. What if we make a game in which we will pump out victims of virtual violence and treat them from computer violence? Actually, use the idea. Since when has such a great genre as a fighting game turned into some kind of online grin book where you have to mindlessly press 2 buttons and watch them fight for you? You kind of don't participate in this process. All these pirouettes, beautiful antler grips are done for you without your participation. It's like a movie of some kind. Well, what's the point? I want to feel like I won. Feel the weight of the punches, otherwise how can I feel the drive and adrenaline? This is a moment when our pillow fight in the Avatar, God forgive me, looks more brutal than the dirtiest grapples in this game. However, this is quite a cozy game for a warm pastime with your family. The game is quite unifying. I do not know such people who will refuse to polish that blonde antler.